A rosette is a circular pattern which is engraved on, well, anything that's round. The examples shown here are gun accessories, including knobs, screw caps, oil cans, and a patch box. No two are alike, as I made them up as I went along. There are lots of uses for rosettes, and once you learn a basic one, you can invent your own as I have. I'm using a template to scribe a 5/16 inch or 8 mm circle. I use a metal scriber to produce the thinnest and sharpest line possible. After scribing, I cut the circle to the inside of my scribed line. Occasionally, the curl of metal blocks my view, so I break out and resume the cut. A bit of transfer wax is applied to the surface, and I sharpen my 9H pencil on a piece of sandpaper to bring it to a needle point. The circle is divided in half, then in quarters, and then in eighths. Once divided into a pie, a small circle is drawn in the center. A curved V or flying bird shape is drawn where each line meets the circle. These form the outer petals of the rosette. The curved inner petal lines start at the circle and meet the bottom of each V. The inner circle is cut first. When cutting circles, go about 1¼ times around. This helps produce a nice round circle. Next, I place my graver into the inner circle and cut the inner petals, beveling the cut slightly to the inside. If my circle is cut deep enough, back cutting the inner petals won't be necessary. Cut all of one side first, followed by the opposite side. The outer petals are now cut, beveling slightly to the inside of each petal. You may wonder, why am I not continuing the inner petal to form the outer petal? The reason is because the result looks stiff and geometric, for a lack of a better term. The slight difference in angle of the inner and outer petals gives the rosette more of an organic look. But by all means, feel free to try it. There are no rights or wrongs here. The small triangular shape between the outer petals receive a tiny cut to break up the white space. Now the outer petals get a scallop cut. This cut is done by keeping the point of the graver in the circle and rolling it into the petal and back vertical again. The point never leaves the circle. The rolling action produces a sparkly bright cut scallop, and it requires a bit of practice to get the hang of. Each of the inner petals gets a single shade line that becomes wide at the base. If your inner circle was cut deep enough, the chips should release nicely for you. Shading the outer petals begins with the center line and then shading on each side. The center line becomes a guide for the rest of the cuts, so if it's cut accurately, the rest of the shade lines will fall into place. The object is to create a dark shade at the bottom, so the shade lines will overlap and converge, similarly to what was done in the running wheat border. Even though it's a very small design, the beveled cuts sparkle as the light plays on them. I can't emphasize this enough, as it adds such life to the work. The rosette is completed by cutting another small circle in the inner circle and then cross-hatching. Practice this design a few times and then experiment with your own designs and see what you can come up with. Rosettes are great fun.